Dollar Shave Club.
Yeah.
So they took something that was like, awkward going into the store, and typically razors are behind like a lock and key. You got to ask somebody to come and unlock it to be able to, buy the box of razors. Like, it was a pain in the butt. And so they took that and made that experience like convenient, where just you pay a monthly fee and then you get razors sent to you every month. Like, super easy. And it took off.
I'm sorry. But yeah, you can go in there and buy all the shit to make meth, but you can't get a razor blade because it's behind the thing. I said, so we can be meth in the Mud Club.
Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent to that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse through the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from hitting your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop.
All right, Alan, I know you didn't hear the ding that says let's get started, but believe it or not, it's already done.
I don't trust you.
I know, but I've been testing it.
We've been doing this for 3.5 years. I don't trust you.
All right, so I've gone to new technology. What the hell did you just say? New technology? This guy can't handle it. Oh, God, I fell down almost. But no, I've done it. I've gone to recording our pods on the cloud, dude. I'm with it. I'm hip. I'm there. I'm just like all about it all of a sudden. I've had so many people on the podcast, saying, hey, I can tech you up a little bit. We'll get you on Calendly. I said, no, I'm old school, man. I still have to reach out to you and then email you.
Yeah.
That makes me sound old, right? You're like, what the hell? It sucks.
It's comforting.
But no,
we're recording. Trail.
We are recording, and I've got AI taking notes. That's right. Who is AI? It is not Arthur Treacher's intelligence. It is AI, artificial intelligence. I'm all about it now.
Yeah, I know you are big.
I am ChatGPT.
Anything you can do to make Chris's life easier.
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how quick some of these things have happened. It's helped me build social media strategies for my business. It's helped me, I uploaded, I took a lot of Stephanie Novinsky's, I can't even say her name, but Stephanie's advice, uploaded all that stuff up to chat, and now I've been asking questions, and it knows who I am.
Are you kind of like on the commercials where you're laying in bed and you're like, and have you named it like, Susie? Hey Susie, I don't feel very good today. Can I talk to you? And the AI talks back.
Are you
replacing your therapist with the
AI? That's a long pause, everybody. If you're in your truck, you got me. So remember, we had another guy in the pod who said he was talking back and forth to his AI in the car. Guess who's doing that now?
Are you really?
It is cool too. I'm like, well, tell me a little bit more about that. Well, Chris, since you asked, let me tell you a little bit more. Oh my God, it's just been cool. So I'm not all the way there yet. I'm no AI expert, but if you want to pay me money to teach you AI, I'd be happy to do it.
There's a glowing endorsement.
I think that's at least worth a quarter. All right, can we get to our guest, please?
I think we should. I mean, he's international.
Wait. No, not yet. We had a big event, and we were not supposed to date him, do all this other stuff, but we had a big event here in Atlanta. We had snow.
1.5 inches.
And I did what everybody else did, even though I came from a place that had more snow in 2 minutes than we get the entire 2 years here in Atlanta. But I had to do my obligatory snow picture, and I posted it out on Facebook. Go check it out. If you don't follow me, I'm on Facebook and Insta. You can go check that out.
And for those who are looking, this was full before the snow.
I was snowed in for at least a day. And so, yeah, that big bullet's gone, baby. The bourbon is gone. So Chris had to do something. So I was drinking bourbon and doing all that.
Stayed warm.
I did stay warm. So that was fun. Did you cook while you were in? That's what everybody does.
I went outside and cooked.
Nice.
In the snow. I got the big green egg going, and I got a Dutch oven out there, and did a smoked chicken and wild rice soup while the snow was coming down. Baked the bread on the egg. It was great.
Oh, that's awesome. I know you sent me a picture of your pizza that you do in the Uni, which that episode has gone out and already getting some responses from Uni. Okay, I lied.
Well, maybe you should hashtag him.
I gotta do a little more promotion on that. So let's get to our guest, shall we? Wait, I got one more thing. No, I'm kidding. All right, Stu.
This is my life, Stu.
Stu, we are back, and Stu McLaren's on. He is going to teach us all about how to build memberships and how to build customer stickiness, how to get people to stay in your biz and grow your biz, and tell us how memberships are the be-all, end-all, and where everybody's going, I think. At least that's what I'm hoping, because that's why I brought him on.
Well, customers are fickle.
Yeah. So Stu, first of all, we got to start off with where are you from?
Well, fellas, it is definitely cold and it is definitely a lot more snow where I'm at. And it's just south of Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
We love Canadians.
We have had a lot of Canadians on.
We've
We do
never
like-
had one that we didn't like.
You know what? We have not. And Stu, don't break that, okay,
Yeah.
buddy?
Pressure's on. Okay.
Yeah. As we say right before we go on the radio, hey, don't suck, okay?
That's right.
So you grew up, you went to university up in the in Canada. You got out. What were you doing first? What was your the reason you went to school, and what did you get out to go do?
Well, I went through for business. That's what I got my degree in. Now, I'd love to say it was like a straight, easy path, but it wasn't. I failed out my first year of university, got the pink slip that said you may no longer proceed in the honors business program.
Wow,
Yeah, because
failing
I
out
was
of honors
playing.
business. That's solid. And they didn't even give you like that. Hey, you can go to remedial business. No, you're like, no, you're out.
No, it was basically an all or nothing. You're either an honors or you're nothing. And I was nothing at that point. And I was playing soccer at university, so that's really what had my attention. And but anyway, I talked my way back in. And so I went to a professor and I said, "Hey, listen, what can I do over the summer? I want to stay in this program." She gave me a few extra assignments. And the reason that I got the pink slip is you had to maintain a certain average. And so the extra assignments I did bumped up my average enough that I skated in by the skin of my teeth into second year. And then something switched though third year. I went from bottom of my class to top of the class. And the reason was I read a book called Jumpstart Your Brain. And it was by a gentleman by the name of Doug Hall. And it was all about how to think more creatively. And so I just started applying what I was learning from the book to my schoolwork. So I'd ask questions like, how can I make this 40-page essay fun for my professor to read? Because I was thinking like, this must suck for them. They've got hundreds of students writing 40-page essays. That would be awful. And so I would come up with all kinds of creative things for my schoolwork, my presentations. And the short version is it landed me top of my class. It landed me the jobs that I wanted. It landed me the girl of my dreams, who's now my wife. And so when I graduated university, I did not want to go into down the traditional path. I didn't want to go into the corporate world, even though that's what I was going through school for. Like I couldn't see myself in a cubicle, couldn't see myself wearing a shirt and tie, couldn't see myself being told when I could or could not go on vacation. And so I resigned from a very well-paying job, and much to my parents' dismay. And I decided to start my own business. And the very first thing that I did was I started speaking to other high school and college students about how to use their creativity to get more of the things that they wanted in life. That eventually led me to realizing that business owners could benefit from the same information. And my very first business that really had any teeth around it was a service-based business, like an agency. And that was where everything began for me.
I got to back up. So, how did you come across that book? I'm just having a hard time imagining somebody at college saying, "I'm going to read a self-help book."
Jumpstart your brain. That's
Yeah.
what I was writing down.
Yeah. Well, it was actually a video in a marketing class of Doug Hall. And the reason it lit me up was because here was a guy in a Hawaiian shirt and shorts, no shoes or socks. He was shooting Nerf guns at corporate CEOs, and he had built this business where Fortune 500 companies were paying him $100,000 for 3 days of brainstorming. So I saw that and I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I want to do that. And so then I looked him up, found his book, and that's how it all began.
All right, so I know it's a business podcast, but I'm sure most of the guys that are out there listening are going, "Okay, help me get the girl of my dreams." So, did you shoot her with a Nerf gun too? Is that
Honestly, yeah, everybody, as soon as he said girl of my dreams, every one of them just went,
business, blah 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 blah.
This
Yeah.
is boring. Tell us about the chick.
Yeah, no, it was it was not Nerf guns, but essentially, okay, here was the game plan, fellas. I think you'd appreciate this. So I, in my mind, said to myself, okay, I want to create the most epic first date so that even if she doesn't want to continue dating with me, just her telling her friends about this date there's a high probability that one of them would want to date me.
Yeah.
So that's what I ended up creating this epic first date. It included like a bunch of clues that were placed all around the city with flower petals. There was me with a full bouquet of flowers, dinner, the whole 9 yards. But it was a memorable night, and it definitely secured the deal.
Solid, bro. All right,
You know,
everybody, gold nuggets. You want to squirt the chick of your dreams, maybe for just a night. Drop some petals, have a bouquet, and if that one doesn't work, she's got to tell everybody else how epic it
no,
was.
the clues. All right. So
What?
how long have you been married now?
So we dated for 7 years before I could convince her that I was the man of her dreams. And then we've now been married for 17 years.
Whoa.
See, when you start that big, though, my question is, how do you keep it up? I
Yeah,
mean,
you haven't
know,
missed a birthday, a holiday, Valentine's
everyone's
Day.
got to be better. You
Yeah,
can't mail.
well,
You can't mail one in.
Yeah.
well,
Dude, that's pressure.
the proposal was probably my favorite because I, in a mind games kind of way, tricked my wife into organizing a surprise birthday party for me so that we could get all of our family and friends together. And then I proposed to her in front of everybody, and nobody knew. And that was an epic turn of events too. But yeah, it
Dude,
was.
now that's a business plan right there.
Jedi mind
Huh?
trick spice too.
Right, right. How to get your wife to organize her own surprise engagement party. What?
Yeah.
I don't even know. How'd you know she was going to say yes? Ooh.
All right, he just
Well,
built total
so
credibility on whatever he's selling.
But he was at it for 7 years. I mean, oh, come on.
well, and there was
At some
there was
point, she was
social
like, "Hey, you
pressure
gonna put a
there.
ring on
All
this
family
thing?"
and friends were there, so like I figured like there
You
was
can't say
there
no
was
then.
yeah, there was lots of things to my advantage.
Do you have what it takes to start your own business? Are you tired of the 9 to 5 corporate job and ready to make that leap into entrepreneurship? You need to check out From the Zoo to the Wild, the book by successful entrepreneur Chris Lalomia. This book is a unique perspective on the journey into the wild world of home services and delivering excellence in service while working in customers' homes. Lalomia shares his path to success in this industry, including proven customer relationship strategies, award-winning customer experience processes, and a unique approach to training a team of service technicians to perform at the highest levels. Whether you're a small business trying to scale or a franchise operation, From the Zoo to the Wild will give you the mindset, habits, leadership style, and customer-oriented processes to succeed as a small business owner in the world of home services. So if you're ready to take control of your future, get a copy of From the Zoo to the Wild today, available on Amazon.
Solid move. All right, so you got kids too, I suppose, because I see the greatest dad ever in the back.
I do,
Which
yeah.
Alan begs to differ, because I think what are you up to now? Like 15, 18 kids? How many you got now?
Who's counting?
3. I mean, it's amazing.
How many greatest dad ever posters do you have in your background, Chris?
Don't suck.
Yeah. Do
we-
better. Do better,
Did we
Dad.
bring up my daughter yet? No. Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, this is good. So how many kids you got?
2 kids. So my eldest is my daughter Marla, so she's turning 14 this year, and then our youngest is Sam, and we adopted Sam from South Africa when he was 1, and so he turns 11 this year.
Oh, beautiful.
Wow.
Well done, man. I tell you what, I've said that to a couple friends who were adopted, and I said, your parents truly do love you. I said, I was just a whoops-a-daisy, what happened, and I didn't have to work hard. Literally, every month we said, okay, let's start trying to have a kid. Bam. I was like, can we get a little practice in here? I mean, we're done? Oh my God, that was it. So, but that's great, man. Excellent. Way to go. Good stuff. So obviously you're teaching them all about how to be a great businessman and a great father and husband. So let's talk a little bit more about your journey. So you've written a couple books. How many books?
So I've self-published 1, and then my latest is my very first traditionally published book called Predictable Profits.
So
So
that's I call that 2.
yeah.
right?
Good counting, Chris.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Alan. And
That's a nice fat
well,
book too, as
yeah.
compared to yours.
So wait. How many books do you have, Alan?
It's not worth writing one
Okay,
if I
all
can't
right.
write a big fat book
All right.
like
Hey,
Stu did
can we let the adults talk for a minute? Thank you, Stu. So I've written my own book as well,
with big words and pictures.
and I did a lot of coloring in there, and there's even a couple graphs.
Hey, buddy, listen, I love pictures too. That's like in this book, I got plenty of pictures for everybody at different spots. We're on the
Oh,
same page.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a little bit different than me. Mine usually just had one finger. What I thought about you, what I think about customers,
Corporate world.
what I thought about the corporate world. So predictable profits. So, in that labor of love, that book that you published, tell us a little bit about how it came about and why you decided to publish that one.
Well, my very first business that really kind of took off, like I mentioned, was a service-based business. And it was growing and it was doing well. It was mid six figures. Everything was great, except for the fact that I was working night and day and I was at the beck and call of my clients. And that's fine when you're single. But then I got married with Amy and we were talking about having kids. And I quickly realized the writing was on the wall. Like if something didn't change about the business, I was not going to be the present husband and father that I wanted to be. So what I realized was that the business model itself was broken. And so I was talking to a friend of mine about like what I could do to change. And he said, Stu, why don't you just teach other people what you're doing for your clients and do it inside of a membership site? And instead of like serving clients one-on-one, you could now teach one time and serve hundreds, if not thousands of people who would pay you every single month to access that information. Now, I thought in the moment, I was just like, man, that sounds amazing. And then once I dug into it, like back then, this was 2008, the technology was not what it is today back then. And so I was dealing with things like HT access files and server settings, like stuff that's way above my pay grade. And I was frustrated by it. And so I was talking to another friend of mine expressing that frustration. And he said, well, why don't you just create your own membership solution? And fellas, I got to be honest, like I was kind of a little bit annoyed because he's telling me this and I'm like, is he not listening to anything I'm sitting here saying like I'm having trouble with the tech and he's telling me to go and develop a solution?
Be more tech.
Yeah, exactly. And I started saying to him, I'm like, dude, like, are you not listening? I'm like, I'm not a developer. And so
See, that sounds like me the next morning after I go, man, I need better friends. But it's usually because I'm hungover. But so at that point, you're like, dude, I need better friends. Then you slept on it and you went, huh, shit,
well,
you might be right.
Yeah, well, then he said to me, he's like, well, look, I've got a developer. Why don't we work together? So we did, and we created our very first software solution. It was called Wishlist Member, and it went on to become the world's #1 membership platform for WordPress. When I sold my shares in that company a few years later, we were powering over 70,000 online communities and memberships. And so being behind the scenes of that is where I learned what worked and what didn't when it came to growing a profitable membership site. And so since that point, I have been teaching business owners in every kind of market you could think of, from photography and calligraphy to fitness, finance, music, art, health, dog training. We even have a woman, Holly George, who's got a membership site teaching people how to make balloon animals, for crying out loud, with thousands of members. But my point is that this has
Ellen
been
and I
my
just
world.
give ourselves the death stare of balloon animals.
Why didn't I think of that?
Damn balloon animals.
Some of the markets would be shocking in terms of like how people have built, these incredible businesses. But that's been my world for, the better part of nearly 2 decades.
All right, so let's go back 2 decades. You brought up something, and we've talked about this before, Alan, and that is you're sitting there and you're creatively frustrated in the first hand, and the guy says, well, why don't you just create a membership site? And you're like, well, at the time, you probably go through the 3 phases of truth, right? First, you deny it, you ignore, then you deny, and then you vehemently accept it. And that's how I got my business. Is like I'm sitting there, I had this great idea. I was going to do it. I was going to buy a company. I was going to do this. And I was sitting on the back of this guy's deck here in my neighborhood. And he just said, well, why don't you come up with 1-800-CALL-CHRIS? Because that's everybody does that anyway in our neighborhood. Says, hey, Chris will tell you about the house. I mean, why don't you do that? I'm like, nah, that's stupid. Next morning, I'm like, nah, oh, that's not. Oh, wow, that's got some legs. So you surrounded yourself around good people. That's my question. Did you purposely pick these people out and just keep talking to them about these things?
Careful, Stu, because I think Chris is going to replace me.
um, I
Alan,
think,
you're irreplaceable. No,
yeah.
everybody, please.
There is something to be said for that though. Like legit, intentionally, you know, picking people that can speak into your life. At that time, yes, I was, and I still am today in, different groups and masterminds of other business owners. I do think that that's really important because sometimes you're too close to it. You're too close to it and you need perspective. And that's certainly been something that's really helped me in my entrepreneurial journey as well.
So I've got a dumb question, but I'm good at that. So what you built, this
That's true.
membership, yeah. Chris reminds me often I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
Yes, you do. You're way better at that than me.
Yeah. It sounds like what you built was almost like a masterclass sort of a scenario.
Yeah,
And because when I think of memberships, I'm thinking of like you mentioned, the gym membership and the car wash, the monthly, you know, membership. But you were talking about a balloon animal person who's teaching other people how to do balloon animals.
yeah.
So were you kind of catering to people who are just getting memberships of people who wanted to learn about what they had to offer, or are we talking about recurring business like in, say, Chris's handyman service? Now, I'm in commercial real estate. I don't see how you can do that, but we don't need to talk about that.
But I mean, not for nothing. Maybe we do. Maybe it is a breaker. I don't know. I
We
mean,
can
just
see how creative Stu is.
all right. Let's
Yeah,
go.
we can talk.
Hey,
I got examples for you.
As we
Don't
said at the
worry.
beginning, Stu, don't suck.
Yeah. Well,
Or
okay.
just don't suck much.
Yeah, don't suck as much as we do. Yeah, that's-
There are really like 4 types of memberships. Okay. So first one would be like a product-based membership. So this is for everybody who's got like a product-based business. So instead of like hoping that customers come back and buy the product again, set it up as a recurring membership. So I'll give you some examples.
Club.
Yeah, like a razor of the month, tie of the month, tea of the month, coffee of the month, subscription boxes. These are all examples.
I will tell you one I got sucked into. It was called Bespoke Post. And it was a man box because my daughter, who at the time only had a starter job before she went back to PA school, decided she had to spend every dollar she could because she was spending with us to save money or staying with us to save money. So she was getting a box every month. So I got the Bespoke Post box. And I'm telling you, man, it was awesome. So back to your point,
I think they need to rename it. I have no idea what that is.
I don't either. And I can barely say it, but I loved
But
what I
it's
got.
great.
Yeah. So, all right. So, but see, I see what you're, all right, so let's keep going.
Okay, so
There's a
that's
lot
one-
of
that's
great
one.
ideas on this. Yeah. All right.
He said there's 4.
Like the best
I know.
example would be the Dollar Shave Club.
Yeah.
So they took something that was like, awkward going into the store, and typically razors are behind like a lock and key. You got to ask somebody to come and unlock it to be able to, buy the box of razors. Like it was a pain in the butt. And so they took that and made that experience like convenient, where just you pay a monthly fee and then you get razors sent to you every month. Like super easy. And it took off.
I'm sorry. But yeah, you can go in there and buy all the shit to make meth, but you can't get a razor blade because it's behind the thing. I said, so we could be Meth of the Month Club. Sorry.
You could probably get a lot of subscribers for that.
I deal with handymen, and we've that's anyway. It's a recurring joke in our world about how bad it is. Anyway, so all right, Delaware, this chain.
No worries. So that's an example of a product-based membership. Second type would definitely be in your world, and that's a service-based membership. So you mentioned the car wash. Like we have a car wash right across the road from us. The way they price it is brilliant. You can go through one time for $10, or you can go through an unlimited number of times a month for $12 a month. It's like a no-brainer to join the membership. But here's the crazy part about that. The one that's right across the road from our office, they have over 4,500 monthly paying customers. So every other car wash in the city is hoping that people come back and use their service again. This car wash knows with certainty that at the start of the month, they're going to get paid by 4,500 paying customers. So what does that do for the business owner? It completely transforms the way you approach business, because now you got way more confidence in knowing that you got money to spend on advertising, you got money to spend on hiring staff, like wherever you want to invest it. So that's an example. And there's many examples of service-based businesses, barbershops, hair salons, nail salons. We have a massage therapist in our community. She transformed her business to a membership, and it's just completely changed the way in which they approach the service. So that's another example. I've got 2 more. You want me to go through those?
Yeah,
let's
hit 'em.
do those, and then I'm going to come back to service. But
Yeah, I'm writing down massage therapist
Yeah.
right now. What?
Okay.
I mean, yeah, continue. Sorry, because I gotta pivot on that one.
Third
I'm
one.
going to move this bottle a
No,
little further away.
No,
from
no,
you.
no,
Yeah.
no. I'm on a roll, baby. It's only 4 o'clock. I'm just getting
the,
rolled.
the third type, that this is the world that I play in the most, would be information or knowledge-based memberships. And really there are 3 different, sub buckets of those. The first one would be like teaching people a skill. So, perhaps for all the other handymen in the world, there are many that are not running a profitable business. They could learn from you directly. How do I run a profitable handyman business? Perfect example of this. I was in Hawaii. I was running late. We had a big event that my wife and I were going to, and my wife was looking at me and she said, babes, you've got to trim those eyebrows. You got to get a haircut. And I was like, I don't have time. Like we're leaving. And long story short is we found this mobile barber. Like he would come to you. And so he comes to me, he's cutting my hair. I'm talking to him. And I was asking him about his business. We're entrepreneurs. Like we get curious. I'm asking him about his business. Turns out he's crushing it because of the convenience of being able to come to clients versus clients having to go to the barbershop. I said to him, like, dude, have you ever thought about teaching other people this? Because that's the secondary opportunity. Is like there are many other barbers who are stuck in a barbershop who are barely getting by, but this guy has just changed the model. And because of it, he's booming. And that is something that could easily be taught. So number 1, under an information-based membership, is teaching people skills. Number 2 is solving an ongoing problem. So perfect example of this would be like weight loss. Somebody's not going to go from being overweight to their ideal weight like that. It takes time to solve that problem. Makes perfect for a membership. Or like a puppy that's wildly out of control. You're not going to go from a puppy that's wildly out of control to the perfect puppy like that. It takes time to solve. That's a great market for a membership. So number 1, if you teach a skill, great membership. Number 2, solve a problem. Number 3, if you create convenience for people. So we have a lot of people in our community who are teachers or former teachers, and their business model and membership is pretty simple. They create lesson plans for other teachers, and they have thousands of members. Like I think of Julie Soul. She's a homeschooling mom that creates art lessons for other homeschooling parents. So these parents don't have to think about what they're going to teach the kids. They just use Julie's lessons. Or I think of Tara Phillips. She's been an educator for 25 years and working in the classroom with kids with autism. She's created a whole bunch of resources over that time that have helped her be more effective in supporting her kids. She realized like there are other teachers that could benefit from this. She's created a membership. She crossed the $1 million milestone this year with a membership that's focused on helping other teachers who are in the classroom with kids with autism. So what she's done is she's created convenience, and that's another sub bucket of those information-based memberships. And then the final big bucket would just be a community-based membership where people are paying to belong to a community of people like them that they have a shared interest with.
So your wife doesn't like your bushy eyebrows.
And no,
That's what you took after all that.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that.
I
You
kind
went
of
bushy eyebrows.
locked on that, and I couldn't hear anything else.
Really? I was so locked on the service-based membership, and I'm thinking massage therapist. I can teach this. Anyway, no, get back.
So the informational one, though, I mean, you may have that requires a commitment to providing new content, fresh content to keep those subscribers. Whereas in the service base, you go back to the car wash. Okay, well, you've got the car wash, and we're just making sure that those people come back. I don't have to really provide anything new. It's a very different animal.
Yeah, for sure. They're different types of memberships, for sure. And like with a product base, you're sending, product on a regular basis. Service, you're providing a service on a regular basis. Information, yeah, you're teaching. But here's the key thing to remember in this. The number one reason that people cancel any type of membership is overwhelm. There's just too much of it, and they don't have enough time to consume it. So product-based membership, if they're not consuming the products and they're starting to stack up on their kitchen counter, they're going to cancel. Service-based
Smoke
membership.
post. I had to pause it.
You got to the point where you weren't opening them?
Well, I was just like, all right, this is getting to be too much. I'm accumulating too much shit in the house, and and I was getting shit because I don't store stuff and I don't queue things up in the right way, a very clean way in our home. So
Apparently not in an acceptable way.
in an acceptable way. So I had to pause it because I didn't know where else to store the stuff because, with the way I roll, out of sight, out of mind, I can't have everything out of sight. So yeah, I did. So you hit it, membership overload. Got it. That's one. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a big one.
And it is a big one. So whether they use it, the products or the services, if they're not using them, they're going to cancel. Same goes for an information-based membership. If we provide too much content, it creates overwhelm. And overwhelm means they're not going to watch it, they're not going to consume it, they're not going to use it, and they're not going to make progress. So they're going to cancel. So the magic in that is that as membership site owners, we don't have to provide anywhere near as much as we think in order to help people be able to experience progress, because it's a balance of teach, but also hold the space for them to implement.
I think that's another great gold nugget too. Is sometimes when we think about great customer service, because Alan and I are customer service
Freaks.
absolutely crazy about it, and when we think about this, we think we have to over deliver, and we always say that we all you've got to, but sometimes it's a little bit too much, man. Give some air, give some space. Maybe you don't have to do as much, and that's what you're saying is this membership is.
Well, it's kind of like when you go to a restaurant and there's really good service, and then there's people who are trying to give you really good service, but they interrupt every conversation. They're over hovering. They're just inserting themselves too much, and they don't read the room.
Yeah, right. And then in his case, what we're talking about is on the lessons plans. You're like, well, I got to really prove my value. These guys are only paying $10 a month, so but that's a lot of money to them. So I got to give this lady 500 lesson plans, and she's like, no, I need one a week. I just need 30. Please just stop.
Yeah, well, here's a good example of like a membership that was floundering, made a subtle shift, and then all of a sudden took off. It was a membership that was focused on helping photographers grow their business. Now, in the membership initially, she was teaching everything under the sun about how to grow a photography business online. She was teaching SEO, she was teaching ads, blogging, like everything. So much that she was overwhelming her members. She was also overwhelming herself. So her name is Jamie Bright. She paused and decided to reimagine what that experience could look like. And then she revamped the membership and relaunched. And listen to the simplicity of this. She taught one strategy a month on how to attract one new recurring client per month. It was like a breath of fresh air. Like if all that photographer did was implement one strategy and welcomed one new client, it paid for itself many times over. And so because of that, more of her members were consuming the content, getting results, and the whole membership just took off because it was also very easy for members to be able to share with other people the value that they were getting. It was just like, look, join this membership. You just get one strategy a month, but it's guaranteed to help you get and welcome more members. And it was super easy for word of mouth to begin spreading. So again, comes back, we don't need to overwhelm and load people up. We just need to give them the right information in the right amount of time.
So I'd like to ask you, going back to the service-based membership, you've got your gym who they already have their fixed costs. They've got their equipment, they've got their space, and everybody knows, that everybody joins for their New Year's resolutions and then they don't use it. So you can actually have 10 times the membership than you could actually physically put in your space. And then you've got the car wash that has a little bit of extra expense. So if I've got unlimited washes and I come through, I don't know, twice a week instead of the once a month I normally do, it's costing the car wash more because they're running their equipment and they've got their chemicals and things like that. But it's still not crazy. Then you've got Chris's business where I don't know what that membership looks like, but suddenly you've got to send somebody across town. It seems like it could get really inefficient. How do you help him think through where's that balance between having a membership that's a no-brainer to my customers where I don't get totally taken advantage of?
Yeah. Well, I would just be thinking about like, how can I turn a one-time gig into a recurring project? So here's a good example. My wife and I, we moved our family to a new area. and we had been living in this home for about 3 or 4 months. My wife and I were lying in bed, and all of a sudden we hear, and she's like, "Oh my goodness!" I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Mice. We got mice. We got to sell the place. We got to get out of here." And I'm just like, "Whoa." I'm just like, "Pump the brakes here, babes." Like, no, we just need to get an exterminator.
It could have been a squirrel. It could have been a rat. It could have been an owl. It could have been anything, not mice.
Are you still in this house?
What's that?
Are you still in this house with the chick that you wowed and have totally left your love of your life?
We did eventually move,
Doesn't
but
like your eyebrows.
there's a good story here. But so I call the exterminator. He comes, sets up the mice traps and stuff, and he's like, "Look, you do live in a wooded area. Like, you're gonna get mice and stuff." He said, "And I've laid down traps, and that certainly will solve things, for a few months. Would you like me to ensure that the mice never come back?" And I was like, "Yes, of course I would." He's like, "Great. We have this program where I come back and I reset the traps every month, and it's a monthly fee." And I was like, "That's a no-brainer. Like, eliminate that stress from ever happening again." And so we signed up for it. Now, here's what's interesting. Fast forward 2 years, and then Amy and I are lying in bed again, and we hear, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, this was supposed to be solved, right? We've never had that problem for 2 years up to that point because the guy has been consistent. And then what I realized was that my credit card had expired and it hadn't been processed. So the guy hadn't come back through. And I call him up and I'm like, "Dude, like, where you been?" He's like, "Yeah, your credit card's expired." I'm like, "Give me a call." Like, just because my credit card's expired doesn't mean I don't want the service. Like, dude, get on it.
So I
this is a
like
great
this. So
example.
let me tell you exactly what Amy was doing. He's on the phone going, dude. She's on the phone with, "Hey, real estate agent. Yeah, we'd like to put our house up for sale. Yeah, we're looking for a new place, and it's going to be a really fat. Today we're in a $1.5 million home, but we really, I just talked to my husband. We're thinking 5 million. So can you get over here and list our house now?" You're like, "No, wait, Amy, no, wait. Did that happen in your house?"
Well, we did move. Yeah. But that
Because
wasn't.
let me tell you what happened to my house before I started my business. That shit was going down just like that. She heard something in the roof, and then she talked to a lady in the neighborhood, and unbeknownst to me, because I was traveling, I was never at home. And then I came home, and there's a real estate agent sitting in my house. I'm like, What are we doing?" He goes, "Yes, I've been told we have roof rats." I'm like, "Who told you we have roof rats?" I said, "Because the reason I'm in the business I'm in, and that's home repairs, is because I love working on homes." I'm like, "We don't have roof rats. There's no source for them here." And she goes, "No, we're moving." I'm like, "Where are we moving to?" And the real estate agent said, "Well, your wife said you're looking for a $2 to $5 billion home." I said, "Oh, is that what we're looking for?" "Oh, wow. Oh, that's interesting, because I need to work like 4 more times than I am right now." Yeah, so that's what I had to put up with. But at the end of the day, we got rid of the squirrels. That's what they were.
Well, but here's the lesson in all that. It's just like thinking about how can you take a service that would have been normally a one-time visit and turn it into a recurring visit. For me, I am not a handyman. I am like, my dad is extremely handy. Used to play jokes on me all the time when I'd be, quote, trying to help him out. He'd be like, "Hey, son, can you pass me the left-handed hammer?" And I'd be looking for the left-handed hammer for, days on end. Like, I am the least handyman you could think of. But what would be of service to me is like a handyman service where every month I get a certain number of hours, quick check-in, come help me take out my air filters, replace those, change the light bulbs, hang the pictures. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated, but it's about creating convenience for people, and they're more than willing to pay for it on a regular basis.
Dude, you killed it for us, and I hate that we're running out of time, but we've learned so much. Obviously, surround yourself with great people. But by creating that membership, you gave us the areas you can do it in for a number of our listeners. You can pick that bucket and figure out what's going on. Make it a no-brainer. The thing I took away and this is why I wanted you on, because I'm still wrestling with that one myself. Like I said, that wrestling. Is that, how do I make this a no-brainer? Because we have a minimum fee for us to come out. It's $230, 180 plus the service visit. But what I was just kicking around with my team is that what if we said, but if you want to become part of our preferred member program and our home membership, what I'll do is I'll waive the $80 and we'll just make it $50 or $150, and then it's $15 a month. And so that's just something we kicked around, because when I first introduced this Home Hub membership program, now going on 3 years ago, I have basically 10 people, but I have over 17,000 people in my database, and I have up to 3,000 people who deal with every year. So I know it's not working.
Mm.
And somebody said, well, why don't you do this? And I'm like, well, that's a lost leader for me. But I think you're proving to me and proving to a lot of us that if we think about it differently, maybe even in the commercial real estate business, there's a way to do this.
Well,
Sounds like you need to call Stu.
I'm gonna call Stu.
I would be thinking about it differently. I'd be thinking about it from the standpoint of like, how do I take a customer that would normally spend, say, $300, maybe $500 a year with me and turn that into a customer that is spending $1,200 a year? Like, I know for a fact there would be people who would be more than willing to pay $100 a month for a service that provides maybe an hour of, check-ins every month. And it may not even be every month. It might be every quarter if that's necessary. But it's the comfort of people knowing that they don't have to worry about their house falling apart because they're not maintaining water filters, air filters, like all those kinds of things. Like, here's a perfect example. We have a skylight in our bathroom, and we can see that there's something not right there, right? Like there's water starting to do something on that skylight. We need somebody to look at that. Like, but it's been a pain in the butt for us to find somebody and nail it down. If I had the comfort of knowing like every month somebody's going to come by and I'm gonna be like, can you just tell me what I got to do here? Like, what should I be looking at and thinking about? Like, that's comfort of mind, that's peace of mind, and people are willing to pay for that. And now you're taking a customer that would normally spend a few $100s a year with you, turn them into a customer that's spending thousands of dollars a year with you. And there's a very good chance that in that handyman being in that home, it's going to lead to other projects. So imagine if you rethink how that membership is operating, it's more about getting paid to scout out future projects. Now that reframes the whole concept of that membership. You're getting paid to be in somebody's home to identify future projects. That is amazing. And that's a whole different business model that could set that in a whole different trajectory.
So
Oh my God.
I got one more question. We may just have to forego the 4 questions because
I'm going to have to forego the 4
well,
questions because I'm over here processing.
Well, we already
like
know
a
what his
mother
favorite
right now.
book is.
Yeah, and that's a great book. Actually, I've written that down. And that book was Jumpstart Your Brain by Doug Hall. Love that. Okay. And he's already proven that he doesn't like to work on houses. And his DIY nightmare story was mice. But thank God your wife didn't take it to the absolutely apocalyptic level that my life did, because that was a lot of fun to walk in off the week away, flying in from the airport with a real estate agent sitting in my home. I'm like, dude, what?
So, Stu, when you're working with a client, you're coming up with a strategy. You're coming up maybe with pricing. Are you helping with that? And then you help them implement how you market it, how you train people, how you project it on the internet. I mean, is it a full service that you're providing?
Yeah, we have 2 ways in which, 3 ways in which we help people. The first way is like I have a course which I teach people how to launch and grow a membership. And that's been our flagship program. We've taught now nearly 19,000 people how to launch, grow, and scale memberships. And as I mentioned, in all kinds of markets that you could think of. And that's been our primary way to serve people. The second way is that we have our own membership software platform. It's called membership.io. So that is the platform. I'm incredibly biased that I think is the world's #1 platform for memberships, and so that's the second way. And the third way is that, yeah, we have a done for you service where we work with clients and we help them, set up their membership and launch their membership and certainly grow it.
Fantastic.
I was writing that stuff down, man. This has been dynamite. All right, so membership.io. How else can they find you, Stu? Let's get your digits out there. Let's get all. We'll put it all in the show notes, everybody.
Yeah, best thing, I have detailed everything about launching and growing a profitable membership in my brand new book called Predictable Profits. So if you go to Amazon, search Predictable Profits or Stu McLaren, you'll find it. But the easiest way to find out all the things is just go to my website, stu.me, like the shortest, easiest URL, stu.me. And if you want to see the book and the extra bonuses, go to stu.me/book.
How is that available? Stu.me.
Yeah, how'd you pick that one up? I mean, come on, seriously. I mean,
there's actually a funny story there. So I was coming home from with my wife. We had just visited our accountant who was breaking down the numbers for the year. And I knew that domain was coming up for auction. And so I was legit, my wife was driving, I'm in the passenger seat, and I'm bidding on this domain name. And my wife's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to get this domain name. She's like, you have StuMcLaren.com. I'm like, yeah, but babes, everybody always butchers my last name. Like, if I got Stu.me, it's way easier. So I finally got it. And she's like, what did you pay for it? And I said, $18,000. She said, She said, sorry, what was that? And I said, $18,000. She said, you paid $18,000? I said, no, I didn't. I only paid $600. She's like, oh, okay. So,
oh my God, that dude's a freaking master. Jedi Mind Tricks by Stu.me. Everybody remember Stu.me. This thing has been amazing. We have got to go, everybody. You've been driving. If you took on this long, you've got to have said you learned something, because I have learned a lot. Number one, mice make roof rats make thump sounds, by the way. So they're freaking loud. Stu, that was awesome. Thank you, man. Stu is the master of memberships. Go check him out. We're going to get this thing out there. But in the meantime, we got to go out there and make some money. Let's get out of here and make it happen.
Cheers, everybody.